Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today we are going to be looking at the women's division in WWE, more specifically, the lack of depth and the booking of other women on the Monday Night Raw roster, especially now that Rhea Ripley is once again injured. And right now, something needs to change. Something needs to change on Raw because, once again, Liv Morgan has no challengers because of the fact that the Women's World title was essentially focused on Rhea and Liv Morgan. Now, what I will say, as much as we've all been enjoying the Triple H era, I think the one thing that Triple H did take from Vince's booking that I think he should have left in Vince McMahon's booking playbook was the fact that he is solely focusing on one or two superstars, and in this case, well, it is just two superstars in Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley on Raw, and we've seen that with Vince where he would only focus on so many superstars. Or he would only focus on a handful of superstars, and then everybody else was kind of left to, well, mid card and not really doing anything. But at least with the women's division now, what we've seen is that Triple H has mistakenly put a lot of his women, his talented women, into the tag division, while on Monday Night Raw, the title, the storyline has revolved around the Judgment Day, around Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and there was no challenger. There's no other challengers, and especially after Bad Blood, we get the addition of Raquel Rodriguez, and we think, okay, Rhea's going to spin off to go to, fight Raquel, and that keeps her into the whole storyline, but it would open the door for a new challenger. And that didn't happen either because, again, the focus is still about Rhea versus Liv. And now, Rhea Ripley being injured, what do you do with the Women's World title? Who does Liv Morgan face? Because if your whole storyline was sorry about that, folks. But if your whole storyline is focused on two people, what happens in case of an emergency? What if an injury happens? More so, there's someone that had a saying about a plan B. You always have to have a plan B. I wonder what wrestler who currently happens to be in charge of booking once said that.
There's always a plan B.
So, where's the plan B, Hunter? You have Damage Control, Io Sky, you have Kairi Sane, you have other women on Raw who are stuck in the tag team division. You have, one of the most biggest disappointments out of all the talent, one of the biggest disappointments that's come from NXT to the main roster is Shayna Baszler, and she's stuck in this pure fusion collective that really isn't getting over. And she should have been a single star a long time ago. And she could have been a challenger for Liv. You have Zoe, you have Shayna, you have, I know Asuka's injured, so you, again, Io Sky, you have Kairi, you got, who else on the Raw roster? You got options. You got, Lyra Valkyria, right? She made it to the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. She was showcased very well. You have women there where you have to kind of have someone built up in case of an injury, or if you want to just take a break and have people separated from the feud to where you can circle back at some point. And right now, I think, to me, where is the plan B? Who is going to challenge Liv? Because I think for a while, I think the whole consensus right now with the whole Judgment Day thing is that people are just done with it. Like, they want to see Liv fight someone else. They want to see Rhea fight someone else. They want to see Finn Balor do his own thing. They want to see Damian Priest move on. But they still seem like to be, creative seems to be like, we're going to keep you all together. Like, no, it's run its course. We need to move on. And maybe Rhea Ripley's injury will finally show Triple H that, hey, maybe you should be building up other women on the roster. Now, I look at SmackDown, right? SmackDown, I think, has done a better job at using their women in the mid card. Obviously, you have Nia Jax, Bayley, Naomi's been up there. You have mentioned Chelsea Green, who I hope is going to be the first women's mid card champion whenever they introduce that title. But the thing is, SmackDown has been doing a lot better job at utilizing their women's roster. And that's really the key, is when you compare it to Raw, where everybody is just not doing anything because of the focus being on Rhea and Liv. And when you look at, even when Rhea was injured, like, Liv Morgan didn't really have a challenger. And depending on how long Rhea Ripley is out, that's going to be interesting, because it was the plan for Rhea to get the title off of Liv. Is Rhea, or are they going to find a way to extend it out to WrestleMania, where Rhea Ripley returns at the Rumble and she wins and does the predictable thing of challenging Liv Morgan? Like, I don't know, it's frustrating, because when you look at the women's division in WWE, it's a very talented roster. Like, Bianca, Jade, I get it. They want to have Jade with someone like Bianca to help her kind of learn the WWE way of doing things, and that's fine. But at some point you gotta realize Jade has to break off at some point to doing single stuff. Bianca is too big of a star to be held back in this tag team division, and it's kind of the same way with Damage Control, where you have Io Sky. She's too big of a star to be in the tag team division. Kairi Sane, they could build her up. And I know, like I said, Asuka's injured, but again, they have too much talent in that women's tag team division that they could just take one or two of them and put them into the women's world title picture. And this is what is really baffling, is when you look at the NXT women's roster, which, oh my gosh, probably the best women's division in all of wrestling right now. It almost makes you wonder, like, maybe WWE should have looked at the lack of depth on both brands. Let's be honest. We've had Nia Jax fighting Bayley and Naomi for a few months now. Like, they need, Nia and Liv need new challengers. So, and you're shoving everybody down in NXT. And yeah, I get it. You want them to come in, learn the WWE way. But I have to wonder, would it have been better to bring someone like a Stephanie Vaquer or a Julia to the main roster right away to immediately give us a new star, a new challenger for one of these championships? Are we going to get a surprise return from Becky Lynch and Charlotte because, you know, we have nobody else. We haven't built nobody else up. So, Triple H gets on the phone. Hey, Becky, are you done being a mom? We need a new challenger for Liv. Hey, Charlotte, you ready to come challenge Nia Jax? Literally right now that's kind of where we're at. Is like as fans we kind of feel and see that might actually happen, where WWE is going to just be like, oh no, we have nobody else. We got to bring back Charlotte. We got to bring back Becky. You know, so again, it's one of those things right now with the women's division, the lack of depth right now on Raw specifically, that needs to change going into the new year. Something needs to change. Like Triple H needs to do better at booking the women's division as a whole. I think the women's tag team title match at Crown Jewel was an amazing match. I think, just like the men's division, I think if you give them the time, the women's tag team division can be really good. And so that's fine. But right now, when you look at your women's world championship pictures, and again, even once you bring in the mid card titles, whenever that happens, maybe things will get better from a booking perspective because then you won't be pushing everybody into the tag division. But, we do need to get to a point where everybody is trying to chase the world title, whether it's the men or the women. So, to me, once again, here we are, Rhea Ripley being injured, and Liv Morgan essentially not having a challenger. I know Raw was taped today in Saudi because they're still in Saudi, so they're doing Raw from there tomorrow night. So, yeah, something has to change. Something has to change, and I don't mean bring back Becky, don't bring back Charlotte. Something has to change from the booking perspective of the rest of the women where we're not solely focusing on one or two superstars at one time. We need a legit, mid card to where you can build someone up that can essentially get you where essentially where an injury does happen, you can move someone up the card to replace the injured person, superstar until they get back. So I don't know. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. How would you change the women's booking currently in WWE? Do you feel it's good, bad? Is NXT's women division too crowded? Leave a comment below. And all this week will be a jam-packed week of shows, as Tuesday I will have a trade. I know it's the NFL trade deadline, but I will have a video talking about what trades should happen before the end of 2024 to help better set up the rosters heading in a Raw and SmackDown heading into 2025. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll be back with more weekly wrestling content right here at Ringside Cinema.
Lights down, time to go. Cheers for heroes we know. Ringside forever bold. Wrestling never gets old.